In the Netherlands, protesters set fire to a migrant shelter. Authorities had planned to open a temporary shelter for asylum seekers in Loosdrecht. Of the 110 people originally planned to be housed there, only 15 had arrived. Local residents opposed the opening of the center, claiming that the authorities had not taken their opinion into account. About 400 protesters gathered outside the building and began setting off fireworks and throwing flares inside. As a result, a fire broke out on the premises. Some of the demonstrators blocked firefighters and police from reaching the scene. As a result, the crowd was dispersed and several arrests were made. The mayor declared a state of emergency in the city. It recently came to light that Amsterdam authorities had placed 125 refugees with students as part of an integration experiment. As a result, the migrants subjected the students to years of terror, including sexual violence. The King of the United Kingdom announced that the government is working to introduce a digital ID to ensure opportunities and equality for citizens. My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services, Charles III said during his throne speech. According to him, digital ID is being developed as part of Social Security reform to support both young people and people with disabilities in their pursuit of success. Last September, Keir Starmer stated that the introduction of digital ID for citizens would help address the influx of criminal migrants. According to estimates, the introduction of digital IDs will cost British taxpayers £1.8 billion. Starmer's advisor called Digital ID Against, which a petition has gathered 1.5 million signatures, the future foundation of society. In Utah, a transgender person who cold-bloodedly shot and killed his parents admitted he would do it again. The double homicide took place in June 2024 in Washington, Utah. Colin Bailey, who now identifies as a woman and goes by the name Mia, broke into his parents' home and opened fire. According to a police statement, he first shot his mother, Gail Bailey, who was watching TV when his father, Joseph Bailey, came to investigate the gunshots. Colin shot him in the head. After that, the man went downstairs to where his brother Corey and his wife lived. They locked themselves in the bedroom. Colin fired through the closed door into his brother's room, but missed him. As a result, his brother and his wife were unharmed and called the police. While the police were on their way, the boy finished off his parents with 2 more shots. Colin told investigators that he did not regret what he had done and blamed his parents for turning him into a monster. According to him, they had a chance, but they did not take it because they were narcissistic. Last December, Judge Keith Barnes sentenced Colin to 2 consecutive terms, ranging from 25 years to life in prison for the murders of his parents, and an additional term of 0 to 5 years for the attempted murder of his brother. On February 10th, the Canadian town of Tumble Ridge was shaken by a horrific crime committed by another man who identified as a woman. 18-year-old Jesse Van Rutselaar shot 5 children at a local school and killed his mother and stepbrother. A Liberal member of the Canadian House of Commons, who lost the primary election to a Bangladeshi pizza restaurant owner, complained that the newcomers who voted against him do not understand the election process. The politician had actively supported bringing migrants into the country. According to former Housing Minister Nathaniel Erskine-Smith, who failed to become a candidate for the Ontario provincial legislature, foreigners take photos of their ballots and don't know their own address. Yesterday, he filed an appeal against the election results, which allegedly were marred by numerous violations. Candidates for this level of office are not required to be citizens of the country, and therefore, a significant number of migrants participated in the election. Erskine-Smith also accused the party leadership of not wanting him to succeed. The editor of a London newspaper for British Muslims boasted that he had decimated Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom march by helping the Labour government bar a number of his foreign guests from entering the country. According to Roshan M. Sali, who works for the publication 5 Pillars, Muslims had a direct influence on the decision. Meanwhile, yesterday, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer promised that he would not allow far-right agitators intending to attend the event to enter Britain. The following day, the British government revoked the visas of Polish member of the European Parliament Dominik Turczewski and Flemish interest ideologue Philippe Winter. Prior to this, similar measures had been taken against 7 other guests of the event, including American blogger Valentina Gomez, an outspoken critic of Islam, and political commentator Joey Manarino. George Soros' son announced that the Open Society Foundations have allocated $30 million to combat anti-Semitism and Islamophobia in the U.S. and around the world. According to the son of far-left billionaire George Soros, he is in a unique position that allows him to keenly experience the full reality of discrimination. His father survived the Holocaust, and his wife, Huma Abedin, Hillary Clinton's former campaign manager, is Muslim. Now, as Soros assured, discriminated against groups are having a particularly hard time. At times like these, everyone who cares about them should work together to invest in security, he concluded. In February, Alex Soros praised Spain's left-wing prime minister for his decision to legalize the stay of hundreds of thousands of migrant criminals in the country. The administration of California's liberal governor has approved $189 million to purchase internet-enabled tablets for inmates, including those on death row. Criminals can watch pornography and chat with women. Gavin Newsom had already been distributing devices to criminals in prisons, but until March of this year, the program was not on such a large scale. The new measure is described as a step toward digital equality for individuals who could use the internet to communicate with their families, access educational content, and learn new technologies. As City Journal reporters discovered, California authorities have indeed provided devices to absolutely all inmates. They also managed to speak with death row inmates who are already actively using tablets. According to the inmates, despite the fact that authorities promise not to give them access to porn and sexual content, they easily circumvent the ban. In particular, they can ask to have porn played for them during video calls. One serial killer claims that a German student sent him photos of her breasts. Using the tablets comes at a cost, 5 cents per message and 16 cents per minute of video. It is unclear whether the criminals have figured out how to use these services for free. Last year, it was reported that French authorities spent 60 million euros in taxpayer money on tablets for prisoners. Xi Jinping stated that Beijing and Washington should be partners, not rivals. These remarks were made during the first meeting between the Chinese president and the U.S. president since 2017. The Chinese leader said he was very pleased to meet with Trump in Beijing during a period of historic upheaval, and when the world stands at a new crossroads. Can we join forces to address global challenges and ensure greater stability in the world? Xi Jinping asked. Washington, meanwhile, stated even before the talks began that it expects great things from them. The owners of a club in Providence, on whose walls an unfinished mural commemorating Irina Zarutskaya had been painted, succeeded in having it removed. The city's Democratic mayor had previously described the artwork as divisive. The mural, located on the exterior wall of the Dark Lady, an LGBT club on Snow Street in downtown Providence, was created by artist Ian Godrow. It was never completed. The decision to halt work on the mural was attributed to complaints from local residents. In April, Mayor Brett Smiley announced that he supported the removal of the mural depicting a Ukrainian woman. At the time, he described his position as a personal opinion, though he cited the portrait's divisive nature. In August, DeCarlos Brown, a black criminal with a long history of offenses, brutally murdered a Ukrainian woman in a subway car. Prior to this, the criminal had been arrested 15 times on various charges, but each time he was released. Trump declined to tell reporters whether he had discussed the Taiwan issue with Xi Jinping. Beijing claims that the island's status could jeopardize U.S.-China relations, according to the Chinese Foreign Ministry. The issue of Taiwan's status was raised during the first meeting between the U.S. president and the Chinese president since 2017. Mao Ning, director of the Information and Press Department of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, stated that Taiwan's independence and peace across the strait are as incompatible as fire and water. Washington, she said, had been informed of this position. Prior to this, Xi Jinping stated that Beijing and Washington should be partners, not enemies. Last week, Taiwan's foreign minister said he did not expect the meeting to result in a change in U.S. policy toward the island, but was prepared for surprises.